Yeah, guys, this is kind of what I'm referring to. I'm in this application here, and 19 million polygons, and everything is super smooth. Navigating, uh, moving lights around, and all that kind of stuff. Uh, Show you the density of these. Yeah, see, it's pretty dense. That one there is really dense. This particular sofa I made in Marvelous Designer, and yeah, I didn't do any decimating to it or anything like that. This other sofa, I think I downloaded from Evermotion, someplace like that, and it's the same deal. It's loaded with polygons. Just polygon mode. It's tons. This particular couch cushion doesn't have as many for some reason. But you can see, everything's pretty smooth, pretty solid. And even when I activate this interactive rendering, it's still pretty solid. Now it takes a second or so for this thing to kind of get going. But once it's going, I can, everything is pretty solid. And, that's the whole point. I'm trying to wean myself off of this application and get into Blender. And I thought, one of the ways of doing that would be, especially on some of the older stuff that I have, using FBX to go back and forth. Well, not really back and forth, just go forth, I guess. But if it can't handle, if it can't handle geometry, like this application can, maybe I'll just stick with this. This application doesn't have any native GPU rendering. It's strictly CPU based. I have an 8-core i7, 3.4 gigahertz, I believe. So it's not the speediest thing in the world. So that's kind of why I was thinking, of using Blender. Now let's just go ahead and, it's pretty nice. Does a pretty good job rendering. But let me go ahead and fire up Blender. I use this thing here to run Blender. And we'll load this same scene. And now I did go through the Blender file and took your advice and decimated the sofa. Well, the one anyway, the one that was a download from Evermotion. So open recent, here it is. And yeah, both these, in both applications, it takes a while for the stuff to load, which is expected. But I'm kind of surprised, actually, by the performance of Blender not being kind of up to snuff compared to, the other application, Lightwave. Lightwave is, well, I have the latest Lightwave, but it hasn't been really developed now for the last couple of years. So it's, 2-year-old technology versus, load, it should load, yeah, versus this thing, which gets updated all the time. But, you know, I don't do any animation, so that's not a concern. But my renderings are usually 2K, 2048 by 2048 or thereabouts. Sometimes 496 by 496. But most of them are 2K or less. But the render times can still be, you know, half an hour or so. You know, whereas I'm sure, you know, the same thing in Blender using, you know, the GPU, you know, could be several minutes. So yeah, this is the sofa here. I decimated it. This one here, I didn't think, this cushion over here, I didn't think really need to be decimated. It was pretty good. But these here, I decimated. Now, I'm not sure when I decimated them. I got all these black dots, and it looked like it really messed up. The UV's got messed up. And I'm not sure what these black dots mean. So maybe somebody knows about that. But anyway, let me just go and make this full screen, I guess. And let me bring back the screen. Sorry. There we go. And we'll just change this to a different view. Okay, so this is the sofa that I decimated. Now this one here, back here, I have not done that yet. It locks up basically when I try it. There's so many polygons on this thing. This is the one I made in Marvelous Designer a while back. So you can see, you know, this is super dense. Super dense. But, you know, I never thought of decimating it or doing anything like that because, you know, it never caused me any problems using, you know, the other application there. Now, in this situation, it's a bunch of tries, so I can probably run that, run the little tries to quad thing, and we'll do that. And it will probably improve performance because effectively getting rid of half the polygons on this model. But even doing, you know, that kind of stuff, you can see pretty slow. That's why I was just wondering if, you know, obviously, if I created all this stuff inside of Blender, it wouldn't have near as many polygons, and it probably would be a, you know, cleaner scene. But I was just wondering that, you know, using FBX to go back and forth between applications is, you know, kind of been a standard for a number of years now. And I'm just surprised, honestly, I'm just surprised that the performance is as bad as it is. I did take your advice and added this information down here so you can see with that, this sofa here being decimated, it's just under 18 million polygons or faces. So that was an improvement there. And I'm sure this will get rid of a number of them as well. Not really sure how many polygons are in this. There we go. Did it finish? No, it's still thinking. Still thinking. It's just a bunch of wireframes. Yeah, it's crazy. Right click. And try triquads. I can see where this could get pretty tedious. Pretty tedious. And I have just all kinds of assets, that I created using that other application. I don't want to lose those assets. Okay, so that must have finished. Yeah. Everything is slow. Essentially, okay, it looks like it did its thing though, which is cool. Seems like it's, like I say, it's slow to do anything. And, when you're learning an application slowly, still using that other application 90% of the time, familiarity, that gets the job done. If I was doing a lot of animating, I'd probably have to move over quicker just for the rendering time. But rendering time isn't too big of a deal. I'll usually set up things to, run overnight or to, run on another computer. But, this is no good. This is no good. I'm going to just kill this because it's no good. It's yeah, I'm really surprised that something that hasn't been developed now for a couple of years, outperforms the newest technology out there. But hey, it is what it is. Both applications are really nice. I've been doing a lot of modeling in Blender. I like that. And I haven't had any problems when I'm making my own assets inside of Blender. Things work as expected to my satisfaction. Yeah. So yeah, this is like I said, this is CPU based. There's no GPU business going on at all. So it's not the fastest thing in the world. But you can see your finishes and kind of work on your finishes, and you're able to click on a finish and it'll select it, and you can work on it, which is nice. If I wanted to work on this floor, I'd click on it and I can work on the floor. Brings it right up. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, never in a million years would I have thought that there would have been performance issues with Blender in a scene that, for all intents and purposes, there's no issues in this other application. It'll load and go. So anyway, that's my update. Thanks for all your input. It was helpful. And in the future, as I get more familiar with Blender, you'll probably be seeing, more work from me coming from Blender. All right, thanks a lot, guys.